Good morning. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, we finished up with our analysis of the last several podcasts, the analysis of a very powerful poem that's particularly relevant to both addiction and recovery. The poem is Healing, simply called Healing. It's by D.H. Lawrence. We finished that up by looking at what Lawrence calls life's mistake, and how it is that we can fundamentally get so off course in our lives, and that it's something more than just a single mistake. It's like a whole direction is an error, and that our conversation about recovery is really, I think, deepened into by the way that Lawrence has looked at this in terms of life's mistake. What we're recovering is the fundamental direction in our lives that we've lost in active addiction. But I want to ask a question today and begin looking at this for the next several podcasts, and that is, how do we get so off course in our lives? Particularly when active addiction enters into the picture. My view from a psychological perspective is that many of the foundations for our addictive behaviors are not so easy to identify. And one of the reasons for that is many of those roots are laid down in our very earliest mental and emotional development. People sometimes ask me, what does my childhood have to do with who I am today as a grown adult? And my answer to them is simply, a lot. Let's think about this for a second. If you can imagine how a house is built, and most oftentimes is based on very careful blueprints that lay out every specific feature of that house once completed. I think with this in mind, you begin to have a picture of what early childhood development is like for us over our entire lifespan. Blueprints or templates, they're laid down from day one. In fact, if you look at the research that's come out, a lot of blueprints are laid down even before day one, in the prenatal environment, which each of us was in for 9 months before we were actually born. And these blueprints, the effect of the environment on us, they affect and direct the way that we feel, the way that we sense, and later on the way that we think about the world and every single aspect of it. Seen this way, blueprints can be seen as pictures of what we're to expect. And like I said, they're next to impossible to locate in adulthood for two main reasons. First of all, they're laid down so early. They're laid down long before we have access to words, hence any kind of verbal memory. That's a major limitation. And then secondly, these blueprints are so much the water we swim in. What do I mean by this? Some of you have heard this proverb about the goldfish in a bowl of water, and somebody comes up and asks the goldfish, how's the water? And the goldfish simply replies, what water? If we're immersed in the water as a goldfish, we don't see it. If we're immersed as we are in these blueprints or these templates of our lives, we don't see them. We're too close to them to be able to see them. I'd like to invite you to come back tomorrow as we continue to explore this water or these blueprints, and particularly what they have to do with our current addiction recovery in adulthood. Thanks for joining me today. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.